So the first card I have here indicates conflict and verbal disagreement and not seeing eye to eye on a relationship, in a relationship, okay, in an interpersonal relationship. There's also an element of, for a lot of Scorpio women, you might feel like left out in the cold, betrayed, or not, or like misunderstood by your whoever it is that you're dealing with in this big argument. So a lot of you might feel as if they should have known you better. They should have known that you have good intentions, and for some reason, after thinking or having faith in them and knowing each other for so long and having, like a long period, an extensive period of running in or dealing with one another, you feel as if they should have known you better. So there's that sense of disappointment in the conflict, okay, in the things that were exchanged, in the ways in which both people conducted themselves, or both people resolve that situation. As for your past position, we have the Two of Swords, which in the reverse, which indicates, you are, I do feel for a lot of you, water signs are not like the most confrontational signs, okay? However, when it comes to Scorpios in general, when you feel slighted, when you feel someone has wronged you, you are very quick to retaliate, okay? And there's nothing wrong with that. It's really important when you feel like other people have crossed you the wrong way. You're going to speak up for yourself. And I do feel out of all the water signs, you're the most likely, that is, you're the most inclined to do that. So I do feel this is a situation where, someone undermined you and someone just like slighted you, and you feel like, okay, I'm going to speak up for myself. I'm not going to keep this in. So you've recently done that, and it escalated to a conflict situation, a conflictual disagreement. There's an element of sadness associated with it. Okay, so I'm going to pull the rest of the cards just to see. I do feel that you are going to win this debate, okay? You are going to win. You are going to be okay. Okay, so let's just see here. In terms of what's coming through, we do have the Four of Coins. So if this is an argument, if this is something that you are personally invested in, if this is a person that you've had extensive run-in with, and there's somewhat of an argument between the two of you, I don't feel it's one of those nuclear nuclear type of blowout. Okay, I don't sense that. I do feel that it's thinking that the other person is going to do something, and then they flake out on you. It's one of those type of situations where you're just like, I thought you were better than this. I thought we had an agreement. I thought I meant a lot more to you than this. Like why would you do something like this to me? So it's one of those like deep regretful and misunderstanding as well, because I do feel that there is someone that you're dealing with who might have a lot on their plate, okay? Not to excuse whatever it is that had transpired, but I do feel both parties, there's like miscommunication coming from both parties. So moving in, we have the Four of Pentacles in the reverse position, which indicates to me a process of letting go, okay? Letting bygones be bygones, but it could also be like scrapping the relationship altogether. I'm getting a lot of you are involved with air signs. A lot of you might be in a relationship or might be in an interpersonal type of conflict with an air sign, a Gemini, an Aquarius, and a what's the other one? The Gemini, Aquarius, and Libras. Okay, I'm also sensing. I'm getting like a Piscean energy. I'm getting a Piscean energy as well. Okay, so I know that's a water sign, but I'm getting like Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, and Pisces as well. In terms of what's crowning you here, we do have the Empress, and the Empress is in the upright position. So it indicates to me that you're going to be okay. You're going to stand firm in whatever it is that you believe in. And I do feel that this situation itself, you feel very, very strongly that you are in the right. Okay, so you are standing up for yourself, and you are giving yourself like a voice. And I do feel like, when we argue over things, it's usually about, who's right and wrong, but at the heart of it, there's that principle, okay? It's sort of like a lot of couples, they argue just to prove a point that the other person is like um is not arguing fair. And a lot of people don't fight fair, and a lot of people in relationships where, you know, there is like they're constantly not seeing eye to eye, and there's like rollover conflicts from like years ago cycling through every time there's like a small inkling of a debate. The memories and, you know, the past conflict gets triggered, and, you know, people don't really argue about one thing. It's always like a culmination of everything from the past that was never properly resolved. All of it comes flooding in. So this is one of those situations where it's like one small thing is like debated upon, okay, and then as a result it snowball out of control because there were like a barrage of other things from the past that was never properly resolved, that is causing the stalemate right now. So you're not arguing over one little small thing that can be easily resolved. You're arguing over emotional baggage from months and years ago. So a lot of you might have like an extensive run-in with an air sign where there might have been like, well, you know, first of all, you're a water sign, they're an air sign. So there's already a lot of like conflict of interest. There's also like very, very different communication styles between the two of you. There are definitely communication styles, okay? So differences in the way you and they communicate. I'm going to say first that this person is very, very intelligent, and I don't sense they're manipulative, but it's sort of like they corner you when they argue. So this is an air sign, is not somebody that you want to argue with because they have the upper hand. They have very sharp mental processes, and they process and they I guess they make connections when it comes to like arguments and, you know, counter arguments and even counterfactuals. They might like argue in a very philosophical, in a very hypothetical way, and they have you spinning in circles. So this is not a debate that you're going to win, okay? I don't sense that you're going to be able to win. You're going to be okay because at least all of these things are being aired out and things are being brought to light. And you're going to realize, both of you are going to realize that you're not over arguing over this small thing. It's just a culmination of emotional baggage and, you know, things that were swept under the rug for the past few months since the beginning of this relationship. And now it's just like being plopped down, and you both have to like sift through it, and no one really wants to do it. So the advice here is to, you know, is the hangman, the outcome here. In order for you both to achieve, um, in order for you both to like not break up, in order for you both to be like, you know, adults about this and confront this in a very mature, high-minded manner, because you're both in the reverse position. I do have the Knight of Cups in the reverse, so I do feel that you're not entirely playing fair here, Scorpio. The other person that you're dealing with is also in the reverse position, so it's like you're not seeing eye to eye on what it is that you're arguing about. So it's like you're on different wavelengths, and you're like bypassing one another. So you can say something and then they misinterpret it and think you're saying something else. And likewise, they can say something and you take offense to it because you feel like, you know, it's a cheap shot at you or your character. So it's very, very problematic communication between the two of you, okay? So the advice here is to either take a step back and approach this when you're in a cooler state of mind, or agree to disagree, okay? This is the hangman, which indicates sacrifice, okay? We don't have to win the argument just to prove that we've won the argument or just to prove them wrong. This is one of those things where it's like you can lose a battle and still win the war, okay? But in general, this is when it comes to like interpersonal relationship, it's not about winning. It's about getting your point across. And people tend to like get into ego conflicts. So then it's more about, you know, who's right and who's wrong, and, you know, how you can rub that in each other's faces. It's not really about the truth anymore when you can't really see eye to eye. And I do feel that you are very frustrated with this. This is not something that, you know, happens once in a blue moon. It seems like, it seems as if conflict with this person happens quite frequently, and you don't really know how you both can reach an agreement or an understanding or a mutual, like understanding so that it doesn't happen in the future. So it's a little bit difficult, and you're trying to move forward and you're trying to assert an opinion. The other person is not seeing eye to eye, and it has you very destabilized because, they're very verbose, they're very intelligent, and you can't really, they counter all of your arguments and you can't really get your point across. So you're kind of in a dark place regarding this situation, but the advice here is, suppress the ego, make a sacrifice, agree to disagree, and at the same time, this is a card of enlightenment, okay? Find out what it is that you're arguing about, and I guess, simplify. Usually, the same themes come up when you argue with a loved one. It's always the same theme. It's always about, whether or not, it's not about him not taking out the trash. It's not about him not putting the toilet seat down. It's about him not listening to the things that you want, for example. And, it's not about her, I guess, like it's not about her not allowing you to hang out with your friends, okay? It's not about her like getting upset whenever you stumble home drunk at night, or if you're like with your friends having a good time and she's at home angry. It's not about that. It's about mainly her feeling as if you don't appreciate her. So there are underlying themes to all of these arguments, and it is really important to get to those underlying themes, okay? The other person is not bitter and angry, and it's not that they want you to just have a sucky time at home and not go out with your friends. It's just they might be a little bit insecure when you're out with your friends, and they also want to spend more time with you, so they want you at home. Okay, so try to figure out what it is that the other party is really upset about. And I do feel that that's going to require a little bit more humility from both parties. So this is definitely, going back to the past. This is the Eight of Cups, which is not moving forward, but rather going back to the past, re-examining the past, re-examining arguments that might have sparked up in the past, and figuring like what are the underlying themes, so that we can approach the so that we don't have to argue over these disparate things. We can just focus on the themes and to extract information based on the themes. Okay, so try to find out what it is that you are arguing about so that you can like nip it in the bud. All right. And additionally, I do have the Two of Wands here, which indicates to me basically faulty foundations. Okay, so it's sort of like being a little bit too presumptuous and too premature when you start a new project. Okay, so this is like returning to the drawing board in the reverse position. Go back to the drawing board, figure out like overarching themes. Okay, because I do feel there is an element of here of like being so stuck in a situation where you are so like you don't have peripheral vision. You are very tunnel vision, and you're honing in on like these really small minute details, and you're missing the big picture. So get a bird's eye view. Think about long stretches of time where you've had arguments, and think about this is not a fun process. No one wants to do this, but I do feel for the sake of your relationship it is going to be important for you to do so. So I urge you to take this process, because I do feel there is going to be a breakthrough in your communication with this person in the future. Okay, so it's just a matter of whether or not you want to work at this. And I do feel that you do, because there's still a lot of love here. I do feel a lot of like soothing energies with the Empress. It indicates like stability. It also indicates just overall there's great love. We still have the Chariot, which indicates success. We still have the Page of Cups, which indicates, two people who care about one another. There's a sense of like innocence and, loving on a human level. But it's not being, I guess, displayed or portrayed or projected in a high-minded fashion, mainly because the people are in conflict with one another. So I do feel this is a situation that you definitely can salvage, okay? So, Scorpios, you are very effective communicators, but I do sense that, you're stuck in the details, the very, very small details. And the person that you're dealing with, they're very, very sharp thinkers. They're not as effective communicators the way that you are, because you're able to look at the tiny details. You're able to recall almost like verbatim, that last argument that you had. I don't feel they're able to do that the way that you can. However, they see overarching themes. So my advice here is, if they're telling you, this is a pattern, if they're telling you, there's a pattern of your behavior that you're doing that I'm not entirely happy with. Since you're so focused on the details, I do feel that it would be better for you to at least listen to what they have to say, because I do feel there's some truth to it. Air signs in general, they see the bigger picture, okay? And they make connections really fast. And they make connections so fast in a way that's like they don't really know how to explain it. So trust what they have to say and at least give merit to the things that they say. Don't be so fast to dismiss it, I guess. Don't be dismissive in general when you argue, because that's going to create a lot of hostilities. But don't dismiss it in this context, because I do feel there is some validity to whatever it is that they're saying, okay? Especially if they're talking about overarching themes, So Scorpios, I hope you get through this unscathed. I mean, this is a very, it seems like a very arduous process. No one wants to, recycle arguments, and no one really wants to really bring up the past. But I do feel that this is something that you're going to have to do, mainly because it is going to be better for you to learn to effectively, navigate and work with another person who is very different from you. I mean, life is a learning process, and this is like the prime opportunity to come face to face with like somebody who is very intelligent, very articulate, but for some reason you can't communicate well. Okay, so this will at least refine your thinking processes, and at least enhance your critical thinking ability, so that you can be a better I would say, like, I don't want to say so that you can argue better, but it seems as if, both parties can enhance the way they compromise and work with one another. So that's the whole point of conflict, okay? Let me know how this plays out for you, Scorpios. But I do feel you're going to be okay. It's just, aim for the high road, okay? Both parties should aim for the high road, not just you. Both parties should. This is one of those, major events happening for this month. So be patient with one another, all right? So take care of yourself. Let me know how this plays out for you as well. I didn't focus too much on the financial situation, because I do feel that, I'm going to align myself with whatever shows up in the cards is the areas that I will focus on. The cards aren't finance related, so I do feel that even in a business environment, you are going to encounter like opposition. So it is really important for you to figure out how you can get your point across, and how you can refine your thinking processes, and to get another person to come on board and to see your side of the story, okay?